everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and they've just released the full 911 call of Shannan Gilbert. She's a young lady who went missing on Long Island, and many people believe was a victim of the Long Island serial killer. And I was very excited that they finally did this. I don't know what took them so long, but what I'm going to do here is I want to go through, I took some screenshots of the call. I want to go through what I think about each part of the call to help you understand what I have always believed, that Shannan Gilbert was not a victim of the Long Island serial killer, who, by the way, I think the best choice for that is John Bittroff, and I put a link below to that video that I did on the Long Island serial killer, and is it Bittroff? But I've never believed she was a victim of the Long Island serial killer, and I never believed she was murdered. And now that we have the full 911 tape, oh my gosh, I'm like, there we go. There's so much information in here that shows most likely what went down, at least my interpretation of what went down. So let me go to the these screenshots I took, and I'll go through them and I'll just explain what I think. Okay, so Shannan Gilbert has her driver take her out to Mr. Brewer's house on Long Island. In case you haven't got a clue, Shannan Gilbert is a prostitute, or was a prostitute, and she had a driver. And what a driver is, under these circumstances, when you advertise online and then you make a date, then you get a driver to take you there, and that serves you two purposes. One, you've got a way to get there and back, and two, you have somebody outside the location to give you safety, so that if anything happens to you, they could call the police, they could rush in and try to save you, and most importantly, the guy inside knows you got the guy outside, so he's like unlikely to do things to you. And if you're going to be a prostitute, that is one of the safest ways to do this outside of working in an actual house of prostitution of one sort or the other. The women on the street who jump into vehicles and go off with some guy never to be seen again, they have no protection. So this is at least Shannan Gilbert, I will say, used some sense in getting a driver to take her to and from her appointments. Okay, so now she's at Brewer's house. She's inside Brewer's house. And here's the first call that she makes to 911. And they, I'm going to only put some of these on. There's a couple in between I'm going to leave out. I'm not going to do them all. But basically, the state police are going, what's up? And she says, yeah, there's someone after me. And the operator goes, I'm sorry? There's someone after me. Where are you? There's somebody after me. Now, mind you, she's inside the house at the time with Brewer. So it would seem that it couldn't be the client that's after her because she's in his house, right? So it would have to be somebody who had chased her into the house, was trying to get into the house. Theoretically, that would be most sensible. All right, goes on. They keep asking her where she is, and she says she doesn't know, even though she was the one that set up the appointment. But finally she just says, I'm in Long Island. Where on Long Island are you? And then you hear this background noise. And this is Joseph Brewer, that's the client, in his home. And he says to her, yeah, he wants to talk to you. The guy wants to talk to you. And she says, no. And he says, go ahead and talk to her. And Shannan says, no. And then you can't hear what Brewer says. So clearly the driver is trying to talk to her because she's acting weird, okay? Then you hear something other inaudible again. And then she says to him, to Brewer, please can you shut the door? Which is interesting because, again, it can't be Brewer who's scaring her, because why would she want to shut the door and stay inside with him? But he's saying, no, time to go. She says, please. Now, I just want to point out right here, the guy is trying to get her out of the house. Now, we don't know what happened before this phone call, but Brewer wants her out. Something's wrong with this girl. He wants her out of the house. He's trying to get the driver to talk to her and get her out of the house. Continuing on, now Michael Pack, he's the driver. He says to her, you okay? And she says, please. She says please a lot, like please, 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 like please about what and to whom? But he says, are you okay? So it doesn't sound like he's threatening her or trying to grab her. He's wondering what the heck is wrong with her. Okay, let's go on. Then some inaudible thing again, and she says, please again. now Brewer is going, come on, let's go. We'll all go outside. Come on, going outside, all of us. Come on, all of us. Come on, we're all going outside. Come on. This is like you're talking to a child, somebody who's just not being a little stubborn, doesn't, you're like, come on now, let's all go, And so they're actually considering that something's not quite right with her. So they're trying to coax her to get out of Brewer's house and get back in her car and go home. All right, goes on. Then Brewer's like, okay. He says, I'll go upstairs. I'll go upstairs, you leave. Hey, look, I'm going upstairs. You leave. I'm going upstairs, okay? You leave, please. All right, he's trying to get her out of the house. She's wacky. Something is wrong with the girl. He doesn't want any more of this mess. Whatever's wrong with this woman. He's like, get out of my house. And now he's trying, because she won't leave, he's trying to get himself away from her. So again, Brewer is not doing anything to her. He's not trying to kill her. So he's trying to get away from her, now thinking if he goes upstairs, she has no reason to be there, she'll leave with the driver. And then he says, take care. And Michael Pack says back, take care. And then he says again to this girl, whoa, what's the matter? Are you okay? Because he doesn't know what's wrong with the girl, right? What's wrong with Shannan? All right. And then she says, what are you going to do to me? And he's like, I don't know what he's saying here, like, huh? And she's like, why? What? And she goes, why? Are you going to kill me? Okay. Now she's saying to the driver, are you going to kill me? Now, this is making no sense. She wasn't telling the operator on the phone that I'm hiding at this guy's house because my driver outside is trying to kill me. So that's not what's going on here. The guy inside doesn't know what's going on. It seems like the driver doesn't know what's going on. Now she's saying, are you going to kill me? Okay, next part. And she says again, you going to kill me? And he says, no. Why are you going to kill me? And he's clearly confused. Goes on. Come on, you're freaking me out. Come on, let's go. All right, he says you're freaking me out. Now, clearly if he were actually trying to kill her, those wouldn't be the words out of his mouth. He wouldn't say, are you okay? You're freaking me out. He's not going to say those kind of things. He's going to be rough with her and say, come here, we're going. And he'd be nasty. He's not. He's confused. He's trying to what's wrong with you? And then he says, come on, let's go. And she says, out in the middle of nowhere? And he's like, let's go back. Let's go back to Manhattan, all right? We're in Long Island. We're near the water, so the ocean. So she's getting confused as to where she is. And he's saying, yeah, we came out to Long Island. We'll go back to the city. He's trying to explain to her what is, where they're going to go and what's going to happen. So what I'm seeing here, right here, is she has lost touch with reality for some reason. Now, I have not heard of her having a problem with schizophrenia or anything, but she's acting very psychotic. It is possible that she has taken some drugs that have made her psychotic. Now, clearly, since the driver doesn't know what the heck is going on, and the guy inside the house, Brewer, doesn't know what's going on, it's clear that neither one of them gave her something, or they would say whoa, that stuff's really doing it to you, or, oh man, you took too much of that, or anything. It doesn't sound like they know what's going on. Let's go on a little bit further. All right. So now, then this gets interesting here. She's still the operator's still in there trying to find out what's going on. What's the problem? What's the matter? What's happening? Then she says something interesting here. Look at the end here. Shannan says, please get me out of here, Mike. Wasn't this the guy she was just terrified of was going to kill her? Now she's talking to him normally. Please get me out of here, Mike. Now, remember, before she didn't want to get out of there. Mr. Brewer was trying to kick her out of there. She didn't want to leave. Now she wants to leave, and she wants to leave with the driver, Mike. So this is very much proof that she is not, nobody's doing anything to her. She's going in and out of reality here of who's doing things, coming after her, people wanting to kill her. She does, first she's scared of him, then she's scared of the other guy. Now she's okay with Mike. Now she wants Mike to get her out of there. However, doesn't go well. So, then she says one more thing. I don't know what he said. And she goes, you're being sarcastic. About what? He still doesn't know what she's talking about. About this. You're a part of this all along. and Mike goes, huh? Look, I just met him now. So now she's trying to claim that the two of them are in some kind of cahoots to do something to her. And he's like, I'm your driver, you know. You asked me to drive to this guy's house. I don't even know who this guy is. I just met him, you know. We don't know each other. It's clear we do not. And so she's very out of reality here. So now what happens? All right. Oh, yes, now we're down the street. Okay, let me stop here for a second. Now she clearly runs away from her driver. She runs, what do they say, 2/10 of a mile down the street to Gus Coletti's house. And she's beating on the door. And he's like trying to, now she's over at his house. And he says to her, "What's the matter?" Oops, wait a minute. "What's the matter? Is somebody after you, huh?" Okay. Then he says, "Are you all right?" And she says, "I need help." Now, she needs help, and he's there to save her from the guy that's after her. But does she go into his house? No, she doesn't. What does she do? He says, "Don't get yourself hurt. Where are you going?" Wait a minute. Where are you going? What are you doing? She's running away from safety. Now, it's true she doesn't know Coletti, but if somebody's about to kill you, I think you're going to take a chance on Coletti, right? So you'd be willing to go into his house, especially since you've been on the phone with the police and they know your neighborhood that you're in. But now she runs away, right? She's running away from this guy. And so he ends up, let's see, where was I at here? Okay, now, all right. So now he calls the police. Okay, he's not any kind of killer because he's now calling the police himself. He says, "Yes, I live at Oak Beach in this association. There's a young girl around 14 years old. I guess she looked really young, running around here screaming. And there's some guy trying to follow her, which is probably Mike. The driver's trying to catch up with her and try to coax her into the car." Then she goes to the other neighbor's house. She goes further down the way. And this is to Barbara Brennan's house. She calls and says, "Some woman is knocking at my door." Now, right prior to this, you hear screaming. So when you listen, I'll link below this whole thing. You hear her screaming, and then this Barbara Brennan's going, she's knocking, this girl's knocking at my door. This woman does not want to let her into the house. You can say, hey, maybe if she let her in, and Shannan Gilbert will be alive. But at the time, in the middle of the morning here, in the dark, she sounds like an older woman. I'm assuming she's alone in the house, and she's got some crazed woman knocking on her door. You don't know what that crazed woman is going to do. If you let her in, is she going to attack you? Is she going to stab you? I can't judge her for not letting Shannan Gilbert in. But from that moment on, then, of course, Shannan Gilbert runs away again. She could have just said to the woman, "Call the police for me. I'll stand on your porch. Can you watch me?" She could have said that to, but she doesn't ever accept help, and then she runs off again. And then that's the last time she's seen, and she's finally found dead. And then all those other bodies are found, and she led the whole. Basically, we found out then about the Long Island serial killer because finding her body helped find the other bodies. So there is no evidence here that anybody was actually chasing this girl. She was not in any kind of danger from what I can see. She wasn't in danger from the client. She wasn't in danger from her driver, from her driver. And she wasn't in danger from Coletti, and she wasn't in danger from the other woman. So she basically was paranoid through this whole thing, imagining things were happening. She's in a psychotic state caused by we do not know what. But there is no evidence that anybody was after her or anybody killed her. And certainly, if it was going to be the Long Island serial killer, she would then have to run off into the weeds, and by a stroke of amazing bad luck, the Long Island serial killer, some other guy, suddenly happens to be exactly there at that time to kill her off. No. I mean, the police believe she was not murdered. I believe she was not murdered. This 911 call really shows the psychotic state she was in. And so I hope people will finally let this rest and stop saying that she was murdered and that it was a Long Island serial killer, and they started accusing everybody of doing things to her and attacking her and murdering her, I'm just hoping this ends all of that. So that's it. I thought it was very fascinating to finally hear this. I wish they put it out a lot sooner. I don't know why it was such a big secret, but I'm glad they finally put it out. And so if you like this video, please like it, and also subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell button so you get the notifications of anything that's coming out. Check my playlist for all the crimes you would like me to, that you want to hear analyzed, and I've done it. And then you can comment below on this, and also comment on any other crimes that you might like me to focus on in the future. So thank you for listening to this, and I do hope, really, I do hope it puts some of this stuff to rest, because I'm kind of tired of hearing all this stuff about she's a victim of the Long Island serial killer, which clearly she was not. Bye, everybody.